Welcome to this episode of Pottawattamie County Roots. I'm Todd Studer, and we have a special guest in studio today. This is Connie Casson with Friends of West Fair, and you and I have been talking over the past year or so about all of the excitement that is happening with the fairgrounds and the massive project that all of you folks have undertook. And it's watching the progress is to me, it's a little bit awe-inspiring of how you've been able to put all of this into place, and you're moving forward.
It was exciting, and now it's getting excitingier. So we've come a long way. We've got a long way to go, but big picture of West Fair is it's a 52-year-old facility. We have 30 events or so a year. The one that people mostly know us for is the county fair, but also like a gun show this past weekend, concerts historically and hopefully in the future, things like that. So 50-year-old facility needs some love. We have a 3-phase capital campaign that we've started with phase 1, a $10 million goal, and we're over halfway.
Over halfway. That's powerful.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure you've been involved with it since the beginning, so you can look back and say, here's where we were when this was just a concept. And now look at us. We've raised over $5 million.
Right.
And to get the support from the area and from the communities and from the organizations the way that you have, that in itself to me is probably kind of humbling.
It's I'm from here. I was gone for a long time. I'm home. It makes me so proud to be from here, of all these different organizations and families that are honoring the connection that they have with West Fair. And we are just at the stage of asking families. We have a founding families stage where we're talking to folks who have been involved for generations and who are really involved or have been or what have you. And to be at this point of halfway where it's probably going to happen. Like, it's not just a hope, but it's a plan now. And so that feels really good. And I'm so proud of our team and our dream.
So what does that mean then when you say you're over halfway? What does that mean is happening right now with everything that's going on?
Right. So we have a $10 million goal for phase 1. And phase 1 is to update the infrastructure that's 50 years old. So that's power, water, and then Wi-Fi and security. In phase 1, we'll also redesign the fairgrounds part of the facility. So we'll keep 3 of the buildings, but we're going to put up a new education and expo building that's a 65,000 square foot, really flexible space that will be able to host a lot of the fair activities, but also conferences or rodeo or youth sports or whatever else people can dream of to host there. So being over halfway means that we get to start thinking about, when can we break ground? Like, what partnerships will get us from 5 million to 10 million? Mm-hmm. That's a big part of what we're talking about now. But what can we do in this fall of 26 to do the power and water infrastructure upgrades? And then planning for 27 of, can we maybe start designing this building and get the order drafted so that when we achieve our fundraising target, that we can say, yeah, we're going to do it.
I've seen mock-ups and designs for what is intended for this building that you're talking about. And it is going to be such a huge asset to a whole lot more than just what's going on during Fair Week. Now, granted, Fair Week is going to be a very, very important cog to that. But what an asset to really all across the region.
Right. I mean, we have such a visionary location. If you think about what, Highway 6, 2 miles east of I-80 looked like 50 some years ago when they bought a farm. There was no bent tree. There was no, series of churches. There was not a lot out there. And now, with great houses, golf course, all the things that are out there, we've got this oasis of a beautiful 80 acres. And it's in such a great location for, people across the region to do ag events there, or if we had another youth sports space, if we had, we've had lots of conversations about rodeo, and could we have a circuit that had a spot here? And those are just the things that we've talked about. Like, I think when we get a facility up and going and people can walk through it, then Maybe cool stuff we haven't even thought about yet could happen.
On Pottawattamie County Roots, we explore the places that make our region home and the people who keep them connected. That is why we are proud to feature Marnie Elkhorn Communications, your local communications provider serving Marnie, Elkhorn, Walnut, Avoca, and other southwest Iowa towns with high-speed fiber internet, reliable phone service, and TV options built for rural living. With real local support and unlimited data plans, you get speeds up to 1 gig to work, stream, and stay in touch with family and neighbors. Visit metc.net to learn more and get connected today. Your home for all natural health solutions in southwest Iowa is Bambi's Green Acres Natural Market. Serving the area since 1997, Bambi is located at 805 South Main Street in Council Bluffs and has a wide selection of vitamins, supplements, essential oils, herbal remedies, and a lot more. Staffed with over 37 years of experience, Bambi is putting health back in your hands. Explore your wellness options online at bambisgreenacres.com. Well, and I think, too, that you bring up a good point that you are anticipating uses that you haven't even thought of yet.
Right.
But you want to make sure that there's a wide enough window there that can handle that kind of thing. And that's why when you put together the entire plan, you said, we shouldn't think small. And you didn't.
Right.
And I think that's what people appreciate about this. And that's why you have gotten the response that you have. Because you've gotten some pretty big donations in so far.
We have. I think there's a point I want to pull out before I go to that statement, but we've listened to the folks who are doing events all over the Midwest, and their advice on what we need in a building has completely informed what we've designed, that has a flexible space that we could use for, I didn't think about cheer competitions or dance or whatever, but those sorts of things are events that we could absolutely host there. But we have incredible partnerships, and our first partnership was employee-driven contribution from the Logier Corporation. That first $7,000 was an amazing investment in what then was definitely an idea.
Yeah.
We've gotten support from the Pot County Board of Supervisors. Iowa West has been a big sponsor. Southwest Iowa Foundation, Community Foundation for Western Iowa. We've also gotten commitments from several of the organizations that are in Council Bluffs and Pot County. So Council Bluffs Optimists have made a contribution. West Pot Farm Bureau has just made their contribution, the Extension Office. So we have lots of partnerships, and we're starting to get some commitments from families as well. So we're at that stage. But the best news I have is that we have a new match to announce.
Oh, okay. So what this means then is that as folks donate money, it's actually going to be doubled. Is that how this works?
That's right.
Okay. So what? How big of a number are we talking about here?
Well, the Iowa West Foundation has announced a $2 million match for our next commitments. So if you gave $10, that turns into 20.
So if my math is correct, then what this could do as you max out the match, you've almost achieved the goal that you needed to complete phase one.
Right. We've got a lot of work to do, but we're at 5 and we can get to 7, Iowa West contribution would get us to $9 million to our $10 million goal.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, thank you to the folks over at the Iowa West Foundation for being so generous with that. And also, good job on you and everybody else involved with Friends of West Fair of being able to effectively show the need and the use that this is going to be for our area.
Right.
And that is the key part. That's where this money is actually going. It's to serve the communities.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. This was always in service of youth activities in our area and then a community hub. So we have listened a lot. We have dreamed big. We are in the stage now where we're making sure that the math will math. And it takes inviting a lot of people to the party. So we got to make sure that our space that we're creating works for a lot of different functions, and that there's lots of people who see themselves using our facility and partners with West Fair to make this work. But we're well on our way.
I am imagining Fair Week with a completed facility. and just what that would be. Because I remember you go back 20 or 25 years ago, Fair Week at West Fair was a lot more full than
Yeah,
what it is now. And, but the need hasn't left. The passion of the young people haven't left. There's no air conditioning out there, and the young people continue to show up, and they're taking care of their animals, and they're showing their animals. This is a very, very important thing that we're doing for the young people in the area. And as this grows, and as you get more of this facility done, the interest is going to grow, and it's going to start serving even more kids than it is now.
that's right. We have one of the biggest 4-H programs across the state. We have between 350 and 400 kids who are active in 4-H every year. Most of those kids exhibit at West Fair, either static exhibits or livestock. Um, and this is the ultimate, like, learning by doing, project-based learning. I'm in education, and all those keywords that we use to try to get people interested in education were built into 4-H 100 years ago. So that it's the cycle of a project. You get to learn, planning and responsibility and stewardship of your projects, including your animals, and how our market economy works as well. So it's it was a 4-H and West Fair are really formative experiences in my story. I'm so proud of what we're able to do right now, and to think of how many more kids might be involved, because we have a facility that's beautiful and accessible and flexible for them to learn what they're going to learn and show off their stuff.
Are you looking to grow your business or bring new jobs and investments to Southwest Iowa? Advance Southwest Iowa Corporation is the economic development organization for all of Pottawattamie County. Advance connects entrepreneurs, innovators, and established companies with resources, incentives, and strategic support to launch, expand, and thrive right here in our region. From site development to small business programs and community partnerships, Advance Southwest Iowa helps build a stronger local economy. Visit advancesouthwestiowa.com to learn more and get involved. Finding the right care for a loved one can feel overwhelming. Assisted Living Locators is here to help. Jean Bonker brings more than 30 years of experience serving families and has personally navigated the challenges of elder care. She understands the questions, the emotions, and the weight of these decisions. Jean becomes your advocate, guiding you through options with clarity, compassion, and personal support every step of the way. Call Assisted Living Locators at 402-690-5467 and move forward with confidence. And something I see every year that I'm out at fair is these young people walking around. They're standing a little taller. When that week, you can see it. You can see the pride in these young people as all of the work that they've done all year long has all been centered down and focused on this one several days at West Fair. And they step up to it. And you can see it across the board. There's a commonality among all those young people that are out there. They could all be part of the same family. Because that's kind of how it feels.
Yeah, and that's one of the aspects in going from being a 4-H'er to an adult who cares about 4-H. I'm on the Extension Council too, so I'm out there for a few reasons, but just the density of our communities and our network, where it's a way for kids to learn to talk to adults and to know that there are lots of adults who are pulling for them, caring for them, supporting them with buying their pies or their projects. There's a lot of ways that students get to see that there's no shortcuts, and that all the preparation over the course of the year culminates in a project where they can see how they compare. There's winners and losers, but their efforts are rewarded.
Well, if you're watching this and you can start to see how Fair Week and how what's going on at the fairgrounds are all kind of tied in together, everything that you were just talking about is how this project has happened. That with the planning, with getting everything in and start to focus in on a culmination of when you can actually break ground and do these are all lessons that I'm sure you learned as a kid that you're using now.
Yeah, and most of my committee members were 4-H members just like me. That's been one of the most fun parts, is to work on this with all the knuckleheads I grew up with. So that part's been great. But it's the, setting goals and following through and monitoring progress, adjusting, keeping score with, some money and finding partnerships. It's all the things that I think about in my strategic planning business, but that, yeah, we learned with 4-H projects. So
Yeah, it kind of
it's
gets
pretty
in your
great.
skin, under your skin, and you
Yeah.
just kind of, it becomes part of who you are, and it starts to define you. And those same values and the same work ethic carries on into so many other areas. And that's why it's important. That's why, the state of Iowa has had county fairs going back forever.
Right.
And I've been to a lot of them. And during my KMA days, it was kind of a thing
Yeah.
that we'd be out there,
Yeah.
covering different county fairs, or going to where my cousins were up in Northeast Iowa and going to the Clayton County Fair
Wow.
back once upon a time. Really hilly kind of fairgrounds out there, but there is, again, that common theme that runs through all of it. So the fact that you have achieved what you've achieved so far, and there's no reason to think that this momentum is just not going to keep going, because you've been building it,
Well,
and
yeah.
now it's happening.
Yeah.
So how do you need people to be involved at this point? Where is it that people can be of most benefit to make all of this happen?
Right. The best ways to stay in touch are through Facebook and Instagram. We're also on LinkedIn. Westfair.org is the website, and westfair.org/Spirit of West Fair is the page that has all the information about our capital campaign. If folks want to have a conversation or learn more about the capital campaign, they can reach out to us at friends@westfair.org. So that email address gets checked every day. We're following up with phone calls and having good conversations with people.
Well, I've been able to stand on the sidelines and witness everything.
You've been
that
here
you're
for all
doing.
of it.
It's been a ton of fun, and when you start to see the progress turning into action, and that's where we're headed right now. That's the cool part, and I'm looking forward to the new announcements that are coming soon, and just the way that we continue to see more and more community support with this. It's fun, and it's, I think, important. This is an important project for our area, not just because of it's proving that we have the ability to do this, and you guys have led the way with that.
We're standing on the shoulders of people who had incredible vision and a lot of love for agriculture and young people. We're building a future that the past would be proud of, and it's such a, I'm so proud of my involvement. I'm so thankful for the folks I work with on this. And I think the best is yet to come.
Well, Connie Casson, Friends of West Fair, and get involved. Keep watching for new announcements, as I'm sure that there's going to be more and more layers to this as it continues to come in and more people can get involved with this. It's all on the way. And I'm grateful that you just stopped in here and shared a little bit of it. I'm honored.
Thanks for being here with us.
And we also thank you for watching this episode of Pottawattamie County Roots. We're going to be back very soon with another episode. So until then, my name's Todd Studer. Have a great day.